Assalamu alaikum viewers. Today we'll be discussing general wave properties. So I'll be sharing some slides with you. So first of all, the syllabus content and learning outcomes, describing wave motion, wave terminologies, and wave behavior. So I'll be covering the topic describing wave motion and wait. So we'll be discussing description of wave motion and wave terminologies in this lecture. So it means we'll be covering this chapter in two halves. So first of all, we'll look at a wave motion. So we are looking at this slide. So that's the simplest example. A person is holding a rope and that rope is tied to a support at the other end. So before the movement of the hand, that rope would be a straight line, okay? And now that person is vibrating his hand up and down. So that is producing a wave here. So we need to look at some things. First of all, tell me, what do you say about the energy? When a person is moving the hand and a wave is being generated and that wave is traveling away from the source, away from the hand. So right now, looking at the diagram, you can say that direction of wave travel is away from the source or left to right. Okay. Second, that wave is carrying energy. We can have an evidence for that. For example, at the other end of the rope you have something, for example, that hook at the other side at point B is not that strong. So if you apply larger force and you produce waves in the rope, so that hook can go loose and even the knot can be opened. Okay, so there can be evidence of showing that energy has transferred from point A to point B. So that means wave is transferring energy from one point to another or away from the source. So we have discussed two things. One is the direction of wave travel is away from the source, and second is energy is being carried by a wave. Third, there is a source for producing wave. What is that source? It must be a vibration. Now we need another discussion here, that what do we mean by a vibration or an oscillation? So I'll take back to some previous topic. For example, we have a simple pendulum here, or we have a spring which has a mass connected to it. So what will happen now? This is the simple pendulum in it will be initial position of the simple pendulum. Now, if you displace it, for example, to extreme right, and you leave it, what will happen? It will start oscillating from one extreme position to other extreme position. So we have some questions here, that is this setup, is this simple pendulum and this support and the string and the mass, is the setup going anywhere? Is it covering a distance? So answer will be no. Support is fixed and simple pendulum is moving to and fro from one extreme position to other extreme position. So it means it's not covering a distance, but there is some movement in it. You can call it a displacement of the mass across a mean position. So if I say this is the mean position or center position of the mass, and it has one extreme position A and the other extreme position B. So the movement is A to B, then it comes back to the mean position, and then back to the extreme position. So that can be one oscillation, and one oscillation can be that from mean position it goes to B, then it comes back to A, and then it comes back to the mean position. That can also be one oscillation. So you can have you can define one oscillation in different ways in this movement of simple pendulum. Okay, but what you can identify that this apparatus is not moving anywhere, it's not covering a distance, so you cannot call it a movement. You can call it a vibration or an oscillation. That simple pendulum is displacing to one side and then to the other side of the main position. So you can call it a displacement. So we can define oscillation here. So define oscillation will be like to and fro movement of an object across a mean position, or vibration of an object across a mean position will be one oscillation. So we have these terminologies: vibration, oscillation, or to and fro movement. These can be the parallel synonyms for the movement of this simple pendulum. Or we can also see that here in this mass attached to a spring, that mass will be going up, it will be coming down, and it will be coming back to the main position. So this setup will not be covering a distance, it will not be traveling, but it will be vibrating across the main position. So there is a difference between traveling and vibration. That's what I want to conclude. Difference between traveling, covering a distance, and vibrating. So we can come back to the waves discussion, and we will conclude that wave is traveling a distance away from the source, and particles of the medium are vibrating. So if I have some particle of the medium, for example, this is one particle of the medium and I can call it P, that is a particle on the rope. You can also observe it practically. Take a string and tie a ribbon on it at this position P. It can be some other position also. So when you are vibrating your hand up and down, I'm again using the terminology vibrating for my hand, because my hand is not covering a distance, it is vibrating across a center position. Okay, across a mean position. So when my hand is vibrating, then the particle P of the medium, which is the particles of the rope here, so that particle is also vibrating up and down, and wave is traveling. So wave is covering a distance and particles of the medium are vibrating. Okay, so we concluded that. So we differentiated between traveling of wave and vibrations of particles. So now we can move ahead for differentiating between. So we can sum up with these points. Source of wave is a vibration oscillation. You cannot produce a wave without a vibration or oscillation. So source of wave is a vibration. Wave travels away from the source. Wave carries energy from source to the far end. Particles of the medium keep vibrating across mean position and do not move along the wave. So I hope all of you agree with these 4 points which we discussed in our discussion. You can also imagine waves in water. For example, this is the case. So um, appointed we have a rod here which has a mass attached to it, so that can vibrate up and down. We can also see in this case that is vibrating up and down on and producing waves in water. And for example, we have some paper piece here, same thing will be happening to that paper. For example, this is a paper piece here, so waves will keep traveling away from the source, and that particle of the medium, that water particle, will keep vibrating up and down. That should be done with a different color, so yellow. So that paper piece is vibrating up and down, and wave will be traveling away from the source. So particle of the medium keep vibrating at their positions and wave travels. Okay, in the head. So it means we can have two types of waves. One is transverse and the other is a longitudinal wave. So what do we mean by that? So here I have an example. I have an apparatus which can be used to produce both the waves. A spring here, but types of vibrations are different. So here type of vibration is up and down. There is a spring on the table and I am moving that spring up and down. I am vibrating that spring up and down. So wave like that is being generated in the spring. And here I have the same spring and I am moving my hand to and fro, to the right and to the left. So different wave will be generated here. So what is the difference? We'll conclude that. First thing is transfer of energy, which is same in both the springs. We have wave being produced here. So I will draw on it this color. So in this wave also, wave is traveling away from the source, or you can say left to right. Here also wave is traveling away from the source, that is left to right. So direction of wave travel is same in both of them. But now we'll talk about the vibration of the source and the vibration of particles. So here if we had some particles, so that would be vibrating up and down, and sorry, if we had some particle here, that would be vibrating up and down. And here if we had some particles, so because we are making the source vibrating to and fro, left and right, so that particle would be vibrating in this manner. So you can label some coil on the spring. For example, I can label it P, so that P coil will be moving to the right side. When I move my hand to the right side, it will be moving left if I move my hand to the left side. So that particles in this spring are vibrating parallel to wave direction. दोनों directions मैंने draw किए, direction of wave travel and direction of vibration of particles. Both are perpendicular to each other in this wave, and both are parallel to each other in this way. So we can differentiate between transverse and longitudinal wave. That transverse wave is the one in which particles of the medium are vibrating perpendicular to wave direction. And so we can differentiate here between transverse and longitudinal wave. So have I added some definition here? Yes, I've added the definition. So transverse wave is the one, a wave in which particles of the medium are vibrating perpendicular to direction of wave travel. You can define it in your own words, and you must be doing that. I'll recommend it strongly, keeping in view the technical points. So there are two technical points. If you get this definition, it will be of 2 marks. One is mentioning that wave is traveling and particle is vibrating. You get 1 mark for that. And second is direction between these two movements. So you can have a different wording. What I have written here, you can state wording other than that. For example, I can state it like, transverse wave is the one which is traveling perpendicular to vibration of particles. So different wordings can be there, but the terminologies should not be stated wrongly. So use vibration for particles and traveling for traveling or direction of wave propagation. You can also say it like that, and both are perpendicular to each other. Okay. And for longitudinal wave, you can say a wave in which particles of the medium vibrate parallel to wave motion. Or you can also say again, in, which is propagating parallel to direction of vibration of particles. So you can also say it in that way. We have examples also. One common example is waves in spring. So both the waves can be generated in a spring depending upon the source vibration. So you can state the example of a spring in both the types of waves. Second, in longitudinal wave, you can say sound wave, and in transverse wave, you can say light waves or waves in rope, waves in water. Okay, so moving on. So here I have tried to explain the vibration of particles. So you can see, because we have to plot it now. So we have an apparatus here where we have a source of vibration, and then a rope is attached to that. So what happens, that rod is vibrating up and down. So you can see in this first diagram that rod is horizontal. In second diagram, that rod has moved up. In third diagram, that rod has moved maximum up. And in fourth diagram, it has decreased a bit. And fifth diagram, it has come back to the original position, mean position. And in next diagram, it had moved down, then maximum, then came back to the main position. So that's one complete vibration of this rod, which is making particles of this rope, particles of the medium vibrate up and down. So you can notice any particle of the medium, for example, this red particle, or this um, uh, blue particle, or this purple red particle. So you can observe any of that particles are vibrating up and down. So if you observe this red one, so this one, red one, is at mean position, then it has moved up, then displacement was maximum, then it came back to the mean position, and then in downward position. So it means the red particle of the medium is displacing up and down the center point, up and down the main position. So it means I can plot this displacement also against um, wave traveling or against time taken. So for example, here I am going to plot it. So I guess I should plot it first in a separate diagram. So we can have this BGP here. I can plot it separately. So for example, I'm plotting displacement of particle. Actually, reviewing one thing, what is the symbol being used for displacement of particles? That is S, or it can be X. So S and X are the symbols used to symbolize displacement of particles. For distance, you can use D. Some students mix up these symbols, so they use S to symbolize speed. So that will not be true. For speed and velocity, I guess you remember, you use V or U. So let that be against D. So I hope that is clear to you. This is meters. So we are plotting displacement of particles against distance traveled by a wave. So displacement is a vector quantity, so it can be in positive and in negative values. So for example, this is the mean position and particle is vibrating up and down. So upward vibration or upward displacement will be positive, and downward displacement can be negative. So when I plot it, for example, I get different values like this. I get a value here, I get a value here and here. So I can plot different displacements, and waveform can be made by joining all of them. So I can get a waveform by joining all these displacements. So I have plotted some displacement, but there will be a displacement at every point. Displacement is changing at every point, but I have plotted some, and joining them I get this waveform. This is showing displacement of particles against distance traveled by wave, or it can also be displacement of particles against time taken by wave. Time will be in seconds. So almost same waveform will be for displacement of particles against time taken. So it means we can have a waveform like that. Yes. So that Y is showing displacement of particles. Let me actually, displacement is type of distance also. The unit will be same. Displacement can be measured in meters, centimeters, millimeters, or any multiples and some multiples of meter. Okay. So that can be plotted against distance or time taken by wave. So if we have plotted displacement against distance traveled by wave, so let me explain some terms here. One is crest. Crest is what you can see is the highest displaced position or highest displaced particle on a wave. So you can define it like crest is maximum displacement of a particle is known as crest, and in other direction that can be known as trough. But you can see one thing that both are at maximum displacements, both the particles are maximum displacements. So maximum displacement of on one side can be called as crest, and maximum displacement on the other side can be known as trough. On a transverse wave, we're talking about the waves in a rope, so that's a transverse wave, and that maximum displacement can be measured and known as amplitude. So we can also define amplitude here. Amplitude can be defined as maximum displacement of a particle on either side of the wave. So it can be up and down, it can be uh, wave can be produced in this upper vertical manner also. So maximum displacement of a particle on either side of the wave. So this will also be amplitude, and symbol also, symbol for amplitude is capital A. So this is also capital A. This displacement measured can also be capital A, and this displacement is also maximum. So it will also be capital A, amplitude. Okay, so we have discussed two terminologies, crest and trough, and amplitude of the wave. Next, we can move on to crest, trough, amplitude, uh, wavelength. I guess at first we should discuss wavelength. I have not added the details here. Wavelength. Okay, wavelength. Wavelength, as the name explains, length of a wave. But now we need to see what is one wave. So if we mark from here from the starting point, so one wave can be from the starting point, one crest, one trough, and till this point we can have one length of a wave. This is length of one wave. But here I have marked it in a different way. That is from one crest to the consecutive crest. Or it can also be marked from one trough to a consecutive trough. Trough is not shown here, but it will almost be at this point. So from one trough to the consecutive, one trough to consecutive trough. So we can define wavelength as distance between two consecutive troughs or distance between two consecutive crests is known as one wavelength. Symbol of wavelength is lambda. Lambda is like this, that is inverted Y type symbol, that is lambda. Now, if wavelength is a distance, its unit will be in meters or centimeters or millimeters or even in kilometers. So multiples and some multiples of meters is the unit of wavelength. Standard one is meter, of course. So we discussed the symbol lambda and unit meters of wavelength. Now let me discuss some other ways in which we can mark one wavelength. Basically, wavelength can also be defined as distance between two consecutive in-phase points. In-phase points. What do we mean by that? So for example, at first let me tell you what is the direction of vibration of particle. So for this we can move on to this diagram. You can clear that. So if we, for example, move to this diagram, so you need to tell me where are the particles moving. So for example, if I ask you about this red particle, where is this red particle moving? So you will imagine that what will be its next position. So that will tell you what is the direction of vibration of this particle. So this red particle is at mean position now, but its next position is upward. So it means here it is at mean position, but you know it is moving upwards. So when you say it's moving upwards, so next position, it will be at a higher point. Now again at this point, now you know next point is even higher, so still it is moving upward. So I am labeling the direction of vibration of a particle looking at the next position. Okay, so here now is it at highest position. This is the highest displacement of red particle. So what will be the direction of its vibration now? So looking at the next diagram, it is going to move down in next diagram. So it means here I will not say it's moving upwards, because then in next diagram it will not be on a higher position, it's actually going to move down. So here I label it that it is moving downward, and in next diagram I see that it has moved downward. Again I will say it's moving downward, so it has moved downward again. In this diagram it's going to move even downward direction, so I will say it's going down. I should use a different marker, not this one. This one. So it's going downward here, and here it is at maximum downward position. Now it will say it is going up. So in next diagram, I see that it has moved upward and it has come to mean position. So now you know how can you tell the direction of vibration of a particle looking at the expected next position of that particle. So if I tell you to show that on this diagram, so here you can also show that, for example, this particle is A and this particle is B and this particle is C. So looking at these three particle positions, you can say all three of them have same displacement from mean position, but the direction of vibration of particle at these 3 points is not same. At point A, look at the previous position. So it means A is going to move upwards, and same will be for C. Look at the previous position of C. So C is also going to move upward, but B is not going to do that. B is going to move downward, because if you look at previous position of B, that is downward. So wave is going to move away from the source. Wave is moving like that. So if I draw an expected next position of the wave, what will be the position of the wave on next moment? Will it be like this? So because wave is traveling to the right side, wave is traveling to the right side. So this is expected. And now look at particle A. This was the previous position of particle A on blue wave. So when wave moves ahead to the right side, now look at next position. Particle A will be here now. So it is going to move up. Look at particle position of C, position of particle C, it is also going to move up. But if we look at position of B, it is going to move down. Okay. So now we come to the discussion of in phase points. So 2 points are in phase if they are at same displacement from mean position and their direction of vibration is also same. So let me write it down here for in phase points. Let me select this one, text. I'm writing for in phase points. 2 points, two particles, rather say two particles at same displacement from mean position and same direction of vibration. So this will be the condition for two particles to be in phase. Now to simplifying that, we can say two particles at crest or two particles at trough. So if two particles are at crest position, so for sure those particles will be in phase to each other. So again, I'll come to definition of wavelength. Wavelength can be defined as distance between two consecutive in-phase points, and a simplified version is distance between two consecutive crests or distance between two consecutive troughs. So can you conclude that? We can have some definitions for wavelength. Let me clear it up now. Moving on, for time period. For time period,